We literally have 80 miles on it. I picked it up with about 34 miles on Wednesday. We have 80 miles on it. Let's jump in the truck. As you can see, we are currently at 99% state of charge, estimating about 307 miles of range. Wow, 53. Why would we stop at 53%? See, this is the stuff that annoys me. We're here with 8%, so we are definitely going to get some pretty decent charging speeds here. So let's just see where it wants us to stop here. And it wants us to stop down the road. And we are heading up to Hershey Park. So I haven't been to Hershey Park in quite a long time. Will we get to Hershey Park by 11? That's the question. So what we got to do is try to make up as much time as possible by going around slow people like this.
Without getting me car sick.
Without getting you car sick. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. We are going on a road trip today. For those of you who have followed this channel for a while, you know we love our road trips in our electric vehicles. And today is actually a very special one because it is the first road trip in our newly acquired F-150 Lightning. So this 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning, which we just picked up literally 2 days ago, Wednesday. Today's Friday. We are leaving tomorrow, Saturday, on a relatively long road trip from here in Myrtle Beach up to North New Jersey. So we are going about 700 miles, give or take, and that is because we'll be taking a couple detours along the way. We have some friends to visit in Virginia like we normally do on our way up north, and of course, this time we are going to be stopping at Hershey Park, Pennsylvania. So we'll be taking a day in Hershey and just kind of checking out Hershey Park. I haven't been there in well over 10 years, probably closer to 15, and really looking forward to hitting up Hershey Park again like it's been. So let me introduce you to the truck, and then we'll talk about our route going up, and we'll see how tomorrow's trip is going to be. And make sure you stay along for the ride. So hit that subscribe button, stay tuned. Let's introduce you to the pickup. I don't have a name for it yet. Hey, what should we name the truck? Put in the comments down below, and that'll be the name for the truck. We'll see which one is the best. All right, so as promised, our 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning flash trim, as you could see by the badge they put on the charge port door there. So we have our brand new flash trimmed Lightning. So we are loving this truck. We literally have 80 miles on it. I picked it up with about 34 miles on Wednesday. We have 80 miles on it. That's how new this truck is. We don't even have anything even remotely broken into the truck yet because we just haven't had time. We've been so running around trying to get things situated before our trip that we just haven't had a chance to really enjoy the truck all that much. And so we're going to enjoy it for a very long time tomorrow in the car because we got about a 9 hour, maybe a little less actually. I actually don't know what to consider our trip tomorrow because we're typically used to either road tripping our Ford Mustang Mach-E, which you might have seen on this channel before, which is a great road tripper, but with the small battery, it does take a little longer to get where you need to go. This being the flash trim, we do have the extended range battery in this. So we got the big battery. It's the all-wheel drive, of course, with all the Lightnings are. And it's very well loaded. I think that this is probably the best trim we could have possibly gotten in the F-150 Lightning series for us personally, of course, within relative reason. And of course, we picked this up during Ford's employee appreciation, whatever, a couple months that they have that employee sale discount. And so we are really thrilled about picking this up for a really, really decent price. And of course, if you want all the specifics, I have a video that I shot when we picked up the truck and talking about the truck and introducing you to the truck more in detail. And I'll link that up in the corner up here or wherever it ends up. And I'll also put it in the description below so you can take a look at that if you're interested. But this video is going to be specifically about road tripping the F-150 Lightning. So let's jump in the car. And we're going to look at the navigation, and I always do this the day before, so this way I'm not rushing the morning of, because we want to get on the road relatively early. And so let's jump in the car, let's take a look at what the trip says it's supposed to be, and we'll see if that comes to fruition tomorrow. So, let's get in the interior. All right, welcome to the interior of our Ford F-150 Lightning Flash Edition. This is such a huge wide view here. There we go. Now we could see a little bit more. But this is such a beautiful interior. Must be like driving a living room. I mean, this thing is so cool. So we're looking forward to taking this on our trip. So right now we can see we're charged up to 92%. I'll probably charge it slowly overnight to get it up to 100% for tomorrow morning, because I really want to know what the range of this truck is. And you can see we're already at 265 miles of range estimate. So I'm thinking we could probably do about 200 to 250 miles before our first stop tomorrow. But actually looking over here at the screen, this will kind of give us our answer. Now, once again, this is the first time I've owned an electric pickup truck, or driven an electric pickup truck, or road tripped an electric pickup truck. So my assumptions could be completely wrong and could be thrown completely out the window, because based on this navigation here, we might not be as efficient, but we'll find out tomorrow. So as you can see here, we're leaving Myrtle Beach down here, and we're heading up to Virginia, which is our first stop. We're seeing our friends there. This is our hotel that we're staying at for the night. And it looks like, based on this, we have about 2 stops to do tomorrow. So not bad. 453 miles, 8 hours and 37 minutes. And that is including the 2 stops here, which it says that if we stop here in Wake Forest, North Carolina, it says we should be there within 3 hours and 24 minutes. And we'll only be there for 20 minutes, from going from 25 to 51. Now, I think this will change tomorrow, because we're going to be up at 100%, not 92. So I think this might actually push us a little further. But as you can see from this, 1 stop, drive 117 miles, stop again. And then basically we are going to be less than 3 hours later, we're going to be in Virginia. So, wow, not bad for an 8.5-hour trip, only having to stop 2 times. So that is a lot different than when we road trip the Mach-E. It's usually at least 3 stops to get to Virginia. And we're very much used to that life, but this is going to be a little bit different for us. Even though we have a much bigger vehicle, a brick basically going through the wind, this should be a little bit better with range. Absolutely. It looks like it will. So we'll see how this looks again in the morning. I'll see if any of this changed, but that looks like roughly what it's going to be is 2 stops. And then we'll be at our destination in Ashburn, Virginia. So that'll be it. And then, of course, once we get there, then we'll have the rest of the video, which we go from Virginia up until Pennsylvania. And then once again, we're going to be stopping at Hershey Park, which is, I think, somewhere around here, somewhere, whatever. But anyway, and then we have to make our way into North Jersey. So that'll be our plans for tomorrow. All right. Good morning, everybody. Well, we are heading out here in just a little bit. We're just finishing up packing up the truck here. So as you can see here, we've packed the truck all up. Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. Where's all our stuff? Let's take a look in the truck, shall we? All right, well, starting off in the front, we got the front all loaded up with a bunch of our equipment, our extra shoes here for the trip. We got just a bunch of stuff here in the front. So let's go ahead and close that up. And hopefully that fits with my backpack being like that. And crunch, there goes my laptop. Okay, and then let's take a look at the back seat real quick. Let's go view here. And as you can see here, we got our luggage for the stay, some bottled water just in case we need it, and of course all of our cold weather accoutrements here, because it is pretty cold up there. In fact, my mother-in-law just sent us a picture of snow on the ground. It snowed overnight in Jersey, so hopefully that'll all be melted before I get there, because I don't like snow very much. So let's jump in the truck. As you can see, we are currently at 99% state of charge, estimating about 307 miles of range, and we're down to 11 amps of charging. So this is definitely topping off, and we are definitely looking at, I think another, what time is it? It's 7:45 right now. I think it says it'll be done in the next like 10 or 15 minutes. So I do really want to wait for that 100%. And then, oh yeah, there it is, 100% at 8:05. So maybe, well, 20 minutes maybe. So I don't know. We may or may not wait for it. I do want to kind of get on the road and get this kicked off here. But that's where we're at. So actually, while we're in here, let's start it up and take advantage of being on level 2 while we're doing this. So let's take a look at our navigation now that we are fully charged and see what it wants us to do. So it says we got 35 minutes of charging today. I think that's what that means. Looks like we have the fast charging adapter needed, which I have that checked because I do have our Ford NACS adapter there. So let's go ahead and let's see. This looks like, see, this is always the trick, is which way do I want to leave Myrtle Beach? And it's always this weird, like, do I go this way? Do I go that way? It's always this really weird game of how do I want to get out of Myrtle Beach? And this way that it's chosen for us is probably fine. I know this way, that way's pretty easy as well. 74 is a nice little route there. So I don't know. I think maybe we'll just stick with what it's showing us right now, and if it changes, we'll go from there. But it says we're only going to be about 8 hours to get there, which is a heck of a lot better. Now this is showing us going this way around DC, which is probably perfectly fine. Sometimes we come out this way. I think this is probably Fredericksburg. Is this Fredericksburg, or is Fredericksburg back here? Well, anyway, we'll just play it by ear. We still got a long way before we get this far anyway, so I'm sure the navigation might change and update depending on how the traffic and stuff is. But let's just hit go, and we are looking at 2 chargers right now. So it says, wow, 53. Why would we stop at 53%? See, this is the stuff that annoys me. Is like, you want us to go all the way out here and then stop for what purpose? Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. So there is another charger, I think, way up here in North Carolina, which I'm pretty certain we can make it to on a single charge. And I think we might go for that. But once again, I think we're going to play this by ear and see how this works out. But yeah, so we're going to get on the road here. I think regardless of how we cut this, I think it's still going to be 2 stops. We might even be able to do this in 1 stop, to be honest with you. If it's 441 miles, if we can do 250 miles on a charge, we can easily do this in 2 stops. And then once we get to Virginia, we're basically there. And then we could charge up there while we're there. So yeah, really, really cool to see that we're pretty much not going to be needing much charging today, even in a big, massive pickup truck like the F-150 Lightning here. Anyway, we are still at 99%, and we will just kind of wait and see what that turns into. I just put our seats on auto here so we get them warmed up for our trip. Once again, we'll pull this off of the level 2, since the level 2 is, you know, now we're not maxing out the level 2 at this point, since we're down to 14 amps of pull. And I think the car's pulling about 11, and we're pulling about 3 with the climate control being on. See, now it's up to 16 amps. So that just goes to show you that we are basically using the level 2 charger to warm up the car, not the battery. So we'll keep that exactly how that is. And we're going to go inside, finish walking around, making sure everything looks good. And then we'll be on the road in just a quick blip. All right, so I was doing some exploring on PlugShare, and I found that this supercharger right here, which is up in Halifax, North Carolina, it says we can get there with 25% state of charge. It's 3 hours and 40 minutes away, 228 miles. That is a 60 stall Tesla supercharger, and it's all the V4 cabinets. That is probably going to be our stop right there. I know it's probably still a little too early, 25%, but it's 60 stalls, so we know we won't be blocking anybody. We know we won't be having to wait because, you know, Teslas will be lined up and spaced out properly. It is probably a perfect stop for this trip. And it now says that this is going to be one stop for us to get all the way up to our place tonight. So literally almost half of our trip will be done before we even start. That is pretty impressive. So that is going to be our goal. We're going to try to make that all the way there. And of course, if we can't for some reason, we'll detour a little sooner, but I think we could do that considering the car thinks 25%, even if that's being super optimistic and we get there with, 10%. I mean, that's still much better than, than having to stop twice today. But yeah, this is going to be one of those boring trips where we only have to stop, once, basically. But as you can see here, we're now down to 8 amps on the battery, and that's actually with us sitting in the truck right now. We're actually sitting in here, and it's down to 8 amps. So this thing has to be almost fully top charged at this point, and it's just about 8 o'clock. So we do want to get on the road around 8 o'clock, and then this way we can be in Virginia at a decent time for dinner. And yeah, so let's go ahead. We're going to turn off the truck and wait for this to finish, and once again polish off what we need to do in the house, and then we'll get going. All right, fully charged to 100%, 308 miles of range and 228 miles to our first charger. So we'll see how that deficit balances as we go. An extra 80 miles is a lot, so I'm curious to see if we could bring that down quite a bit. Let's get on the road. All right, well, just getting onto the highway, we got Blue Cruise hands-free kicking and going for us. And I was struggling to find out how to reset the trip odometer, because in the Mach-E, there's normally just a reset button up here. It turns out you have to do it through the menu system here. So you have to go to trip, and then go to one of your trips that you want to reset, and then hit OK to reset. So we were about a mile past, where we would normally start, but that's all right. It is what it is. We do have this trip that should be from the beginning anyway, so we could use that for our first leg, because I am curious about our efficiencies, which, right now we're showing about 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour, but we literally just started that a mile ago. So, but anyway, we're just on the highway cruising right now. It's a beautiful day so far. It looks like about 52 degrees out, but we're already pretty comfortable in the cabin here. And yeah, so looking forward to the rest of this trip. So on another major highway here with the Blue Cruise hands-free activated, and we are cruising along real nice. Now, I don't know which version of Blue Cruise we actually have in this truck, to be honest with you, but let's try something here. So in 1.3, I know you got the lane change, so if you hit the turn signal, it changes lanes. So I know that that's probably in this as well. You can see it. It's got the arrows left and right. So we know that that's there. But I think the auto lane change, which was supposed to come in at like 1.5, which I thought the new Mach-E's were getting, the 2025 Mach-E's were getting, this does not appear to have that yet. So this might be 1.3, maybe 1.4. I'm honestly not sure what the differences are between 1.3, 1.4. I have to look it up to see, but the hands-free's doing hands-free stuff, which is what we wanted. So 95 is going to be a breeze today. So we are not going to have any type of stress whatsoever, except for this yelling at me to watch the road, which I am. All right, we'll be getting off here in just another minute here, then we'll be off of the highways for a short while. But so far, beautiful day. We are down to 294 miles of estimated range and 218 miles to get to the charger. So plenty of buffer still. Looking forward to seeing how we can get those closer when we get on the highway, the major highway, not so much this one. All right, everybody. Well, we are on our way north. So we are just cruising on some of these back roads right now to get out to, just basically cutting through to get out to 95 north. It's always a pain in the neck to get out of Myrtle Beach. There's really no direct way out. That's a highway. Everything's like very stop and go. We got to recenter the camera too. I just noticed we were a little off on the camera, so we'll fix that at the next stop. But yeah, so far the truck is performing really well. We have 94 miles on it now. So just breaking it in. I mean, the truck is literally brand new. Well, we just hit 99% state of charge. We just finally dropped 1% after, I don't know how many miles. We've been probably about 14 miles, something like that. So yeah, but we're looking forward to this trip in the F-150 Lightning. It looks like we're only going to have one stop, providing that all the numbers, correlate. And yeah, that'll be crazy. Just pull into one place, stop for probably about a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, depending on our charging speeds. I'm not exactly sure how exactly this truck charges, but
I'm really curious to see what it does, and I know it's going to be a lot better than the Mach-E. That will definitely be for sure, but of course we have almost double the battery than we do the Mach-E, so it really needs to be double the charging speed for it to be a very similar charging as far as efficiency. So right now we're only at 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour, and we haven't done that much highway driving. So, but big battery keeps the trip going a little longer, so that definitely helps. What are you thinking so far?
I like it. It's a little bouncy, but it is a truck.
It's a truck. It's definitely got a truck feel to it.
It's very quiet.
It is quiet, right? Even when we were on the highway, it was still pretty quiet. That was the first time I actually had it up to like 70.
Wow.
So I'm really impressed with how nice it is, how quiet it is. So
It's got a lot of room. We fit a lot of our stuff.
oh
in.
yeah, I mean, we just basically packed up the back seat and the frunk. That's the whole, everything fit in those 2 areas. We didn't need to go. The bed is completely empty right now, which I do want to get a nice like waterproof tonneau cover for the bed. This way we do have some extra storage back there in case we need it or whatever the case may have it. But yeah, that's about all right now. We're just cruising on these back roads until we get back out to the highway, but stay tuned. I'm sure we're gonna have some fun once we get out to 95. I haven't driven a truck this big in a while, so. All right, see you in the road. All right, well, we are through the slow parts of our drive now, of our trip today. So we are finally on to 74 westbound, which means that we are basically on this to 95, and then 95 north all the way up. And this is a highway that does have Blue Cruise hands-free, but it never works in this part of the trip for some reason. Even in the Mach-E, it seems to be... I don't know, it seems to be very limited as to where it turns on. It turns on like way down the road, like just a few miles before we have to get off. But I don't know, it's a weird part of Blue Cruise hands-free. It just doesn't work in this part. But as you can see, we are up to 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and that's primarily just due to the slower speeds. Now that we're on the highway, I'm sure we're going to see stuff like 1.8, 1.9, somewhere around there. So we're going to definitely start decreasing our efficiencies here. But yeah, it's been a great drive so far. We are 130 miles on the truck now. And yeah, about 100 miles and change into this trip. In fact, let's go ahead and just click on the trip thing real quick. And so, yep, just about, oh, what did I say? It's 100 miles into this trip. About 50 miles into this trip. Sorry about that. Let's actually go to this trip. Yeah, 50 miles. So we're 50 miles into this trip right now. And with that, we're doing pretty well. So yeah, got a couple more hours before we have to stop to charge, which is pretty decent range for a vehicle this size. So keep on cruising. All right, so the hands-free finally kicked on about 3.5 miles before our exit. So we're just about there to our exit, about another 1.5 miles, and then we'll be on 95, and then we'll be going through Lumberton, North Carolina, and then we'll be just cranking up 95 until we get to the charger. So this will be easy. It'll be basically on hands-free for the duration of this trip for the most part. So looking forward to that. But it's been a beautiful day. The temperature is fluctuating around the low 50s. It looks like it's going to stay about low 50s all the way up into Virginia today. So not the greatest temperatures, but you know, for middle of April, I guess we just got to deal with it. Well, there's my cue. Got to get off in 3/4 mile. Well, we gotta show off the good stuff while we're here. Blue Cruise, tap the turn signal. It's gonna do its thing. Moving over lane. Look at that. Awesome. Love it. All right, you join us at 200 miles on the F-150 Lightning. So 200 miles on this truck now officially since we've bought it, and we are still cruising along. Look at this. We still got 57% battery left. If you look over at our statistics, we've been driving for over 2 hours, 120 miles in, about 2 miles per kilowatt hour. So really not bad considering. And this is what we're looking at here. So it says we're going to be at the charger in about an hour and a half. And once we're there, it says we got to charge for 50 minutes, which may or may not be the case, but we'll see. I guess it's assuming we're burning off a little bit more juice than initially anticipated, because before I think it said like 40 minutes or something over there, but that's all right. It'll be nice to take a little break and stretch for a little bit, maybe find something to eat for lunch, and then cruise on down the road. And once again, that'll probably be our only stop for today, other than we'll probably stop one more time just to charge up overnight. This way we're ready for tomorrow morning when we wake up, because tomorrow morning we're getting up and going straight to Hershey Park, and this way we'll be kind of ready for that leg of the trip. It's only a 2-hour stint from Virginia to Hershey Park tomorrow. So yep, that's pretty much what we're looking at, and we will see you in a little bit. All right, just a quick check-in here at 50% state of charge. We have 135 miles of estimated range left, and we are 135 miles into this trip. So, you know, basically thinking that 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour, but basically thinking that this truck is basically a 250 mile highway cruiser. I mean, that's pretty impressive right there. So I'm impressed so far, honestly. I really am. Almost 2 miles per kilowatt hour. Obviously, if we did all highway, that would probably be down to like 1.7. But yeah, I mean, we're just kind of holding right now at about 70 miles an hour, and you know, we're doing a little bit faster speeds before, but overall, really, really nice, comfortable drive, and enjoying it so far. We got about an hour and a little less than an hour and a half to the charger, and then we'll see you there, and we'll see how this guy charges up. Smithfield, North Carolina, which is normally, I don't know if it's this exit or maybe the next exit, but this is normally where we would get off with the Mach-E at this point to charge up, prior to supercharger days, of course, because now with superchargers you can probably go a little further to the next supercharger. But yeah, that would be where we normally get off here in Smithfield, and as you can see, we still have 44% battery left. So yeah, once again, really, really impressive. But when you got double the size battery as our standard range Mach-E, that's kind of expected, I imagine. But yeah, we're looking to be at the charger here in just about an hour. So really looking good here. I mean, it's been a pretty comfortable morning, and Blue Cruise has been working, you know, 99% of the time here on 95. Every once in a while it blips out for a few seconds, and then it kind of comes right back on again. So really been good, even through a lot of these like construction zones and stuff we've been having. But yeah, so looks really good so far, and we'll see you at the charger in an hour. In fact, looking through the trees here off of 95, you can see the outlets right there. Right by that big outlet sign right there is the chargers. You can maybe glimpse of them right there. But yep, so we just passed it, and we're still going. Tell me that that's not hurting our efficiency right there. We really need to do something about that antenna. As you can see, we are down to 20% state of charge now. So we are getting there. We're only 25 miles from the exit, so probably another less than a mile to the charger as far as I know. So yeah, making great time. We're gonna get there with a pretty low state of charge, so we'll be able to see how this thing charges up. I heard it's about 180 kilowatts, which is pretty good. Yeah, it says we'll get there with about 10%, and it says we need to charge up to 81 to get to our place in Virginia. So we will see whether or not we'll do it that way, or will we, stop again. We're definitely gonna stop again anyway, just to charge up for tonight and be ready for tomorrow morning. But I wonder if we can get all the way to Ashburn there. But yep, so we'll see. We'll be getting off the highway here in just a few minutes, basically. Alright, getting the indicator for driving range low because we hit the 30-mile threshold for that. And so, yeah, so we are going to get there with about 10%. We're only about 9.5 miles away right now. And, yeah, so we might even get there a little less than 10%, which is going to be nice for seeing the charging curve of this car. So we're looking forward to that. All right, made it here. Let's take a look at our efficiencies. 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour, 3.5 hours of driving, 222 miles. Not bad. So maybe I was a little off when I said about 250 miles on the highway before. Definitely not a linear discharge curve for sure. We're here with 8%, so we are definitely going to get some pretty decent charging speeds here now. We should hopefully be able to reach with this cable. Or do I need to get closer? Let's find out. 1, 2. Oh, maybe this one doesn't work with CCS. Maybe I need to get my adapter then. All right. Let's see, will this fit? Nope, I need to move up a little bit. All right, a little bit of finagling, but I was able to get it going. And we're not getting any lights blinking here. Let's see.
The light's on.
Lights on?
Flashing blue.
Flashing blue. All right, that's what we need. Just took a second, I guess. Let's see if we can get... Let's see if it shows. There we go. Hey, look, Ford finally got the charging thing built into this. 146, 153, 157... 161, we're climbing. 9% state of charge, 165. Come on, come on. Let's see 180. Hopefully the battery preconditioned on the way here because of, it was in there as a charger. So 170, we're getting there. We'll keep an eye on that for a minute here. In the meantime, let's take a look at our next leg here. So it says 210 miles to get to our next leg. Now it was saying that we had to be here to charge for like 55 minutes before. It's not showing that now, but yeah, so right now it shows that we're gonna get there with 0%. I think it's estimating that we're gonna need like over 80%, and considering that it took 222 miles was about 92%, 210 miles is going to be probably close to about 88%, somewhere around there. I mean, so we would need to really charge up. Oh, looks like we have some traffic ahead of us too that we got to deal with. But so we might not stay here very long. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to grab something to eat since it is almost 12. So we're going to take a walk over there. They got some, looks like version 3 chargers over there. So those must be the original installs. They also have that random CCS charger over there too. Yeah. Pretty cool stop though. And we've got an R1S right next to us charging up on these version 4 cabinets here. Let's see, our charging is at 174, so still not bad. I'll take that. Much better than the Mach-E, that's for damn sure. But yeah, we'll charge up, and then we'll have to recalculate this to see how we're looking as far as getting to our destination. We'll probably have to stop ahead of time, but hopefully we can make that happen, you know, somewhere towards the end of our trip and not so much in the middle, because I want to try to stay away from Washington as much as possible. But that's pretty much our plan right now, is just charge up, get some food, and then we'll get back on the road here in maybe about 40 minutes or so. So there you get a better look of the version 3 chargers over there. That CCS charge point. New Model Y just pulled in. Really nice. And this is a huge 60 stall supercharger here. Really, really nice. We'll see what's inside. We got a Dunkin' Donuts. I know it's an Oasis gas station. Not sure what that is. Never been to one. But we're gonna find out. Let's get some lunch. Just getting a wider view of this station. You can see they have a bunch of these pull-in stalls here, a bunch of these version 4s, the version 3s over there. They even got this really nice trailer one here, so you can pull around with a trailer and plug in right there. That is a fantastic idea. I mean, just really, really nice design here. So it's definitely much more future-proof than I've seen, you know, a lot of other chargers out there. And cool. So I was just talking to the gentleman who just has that brand new Model Y. He just bought it a few weeks ago, and he says it's his first EV. So I said, well, you picked a pretty good one for your first EV there. So nice car, nice guy. And they even have these windshield washing things here, which I'm going to give it a shot and see how those go. And yeah, in the meantime, the truck's doing really well. All right, so it looks like we are back in the truck here, and we're charging up pretty well. Look at it, 72%, still at 121 kilowatts. Not bad. This is a pretty decent charging curve. When we were about 50%, I think we were still like 150, somewhere around there. So not bad, honestly. And it looks like it might have blown out our stuff here. So let's go ahead, throw in our hotel for tonight and see what it says. So it does want us to stop one more time, which is fine. And I guess what we'll do here is, so it wants us to go, okay, this is going around the beltway of Richmond, which is fine. That's usually what I do. And then it's going up this way. So this must be Fredericksburg. Is this not Fredericksburg? No? Am I just misthinking about which way we normally go? Maybe not. Maybe. Well, either way, it doesn't matter. But I guess the choice is either this way or this way to get away from DC to get up to Leesburg, which is up in this area, or right around Leesburg, wherever this is. So I guess we'll do that. That looks fine to me. So if we hit go, what is our...
Be alert and use voice commands
what
while driving.
is our
In 300
EV
feet,
go?
Turn left, then make a slow
Do we
right
want to
turn.
go to an EV go? I hear they're really expensive. And since this is a big battery, it doesn't show. So I probably have to look at that. But let's see if we can replace that. All right, so we've been finagling with this now for a while, just to try to get the right next step here. And so we added a supercharger. It is a version 3 that is open for non-Teslas. That is just below DC, right before we get off of 95 to go northwest here. So that seems to be a pretty good one. Now, of course, since we've charged up, now we're at 85%, it does appear that it says we can potentially get all the way up to our destination without having to charge. So I think what we're going to do is play it by ear. We're going to see how this goes. And then if for some reason we feel like we can make it all the way, maybe we will just do that and charge up close to the hotel. If not, it says we're going to get to this charger with 23%, which is fine. It should be a pretty quick splash and dash to charge up. So let's go ahead and kill the charge, get on the road, and we'll see what we just determine to do there. So maybe one charge today, maybe two. We'll see. But either way, let's go ahead. Get this unplugged and ready to go here. Oh, come on. There we go. forgot to fix the camera. All right, so we are back on the road, and 95 north seems to still be pretty open. 85% of the charge is what we left with. So we stayed there for a little bit longer than we needed to, but most of the time, actually, I was just trying to figure out what charger to stop at next if we need to stop at one. So it says we could stop at that charger for 5 minutes. So we may not even bother. What we might do is just put a charger in next to where we're basically staying for tonight and just charge up there, since we'll be so close to our destination at that point. But yeah, it looks like we're only basically less than 4 hours away from where we're planning on being tonight. So it's been such a smooth trip. It's like it's nice.
Knock on wood, it's been smooth.
Well, I'm just saying smooth as in just one stop.
Yeah.
Ate a little snack, got back in the truck, got back on the road, and we're going to basically be there on our next stop.
Yeah.
Potentially, unless we decide to stop at this other supercharger.
I think we're improving on our stops because we went from having the Ionic to
The Ionic. Our first stop was in Lumberton. That was like 85 miles. Yeah, that was a fun car to. Yeah, let's think about this. How many stops would we have made to the Ionic already? 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I should go back and watch that video when we took our Hyundai Ionic up to New Jersey. This is going back.
Like 10 stops in the.
There's about 10 stops to get up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like literally, like you got maybe 100 miles before you had to stop. And yeah, I think we probably had to stop at least 3 to 4 times before we got to where this truck was on the first stop. So, but yeah, and we blew by Smithfield, North Carolina, which is normally where we stop with the Mach-E. That's usually the stretch point for the Mach-E there, because I think it's like 180 miles, I think, to get to there. So, and that's before Tesla supercharging was ubiquitous. Now that Tesla supercharging is available for Ford, it makes this process a lot easier, because we can just be like, go to a supercharger instead of something else. But even other chargers have, popped up, like the EV Go that popped up, and that Pilot Flying J, that's a GM sponsored or GM partnership with them. So there's a lot of other options now versus what it was like just a couple of years ago when we did this trip.
So much has changed.
A lot has changed, But yeah, but that's just the way it is. A lot of people like their electric cars. They're just starting to get into it. Like that guy that we saw there with that brand new Model Y, the new refreshed Model Y. And I said, how do you like your car? And he goes, oh yeah, I love it. And I was expecting him to be like, oh yeah, it was much better than my last Model Y or something. He's like, oh, it's my first EV. I was like, holy crap. Okay, cool. Like, you're still meeting people that are still buying their first electric vehicle, and it's kind of cool. People are still getting into it. It's still growing. But yeah, so we're just cruising along here, and we'll try to make up as much time as we can, and maybe the next time we stop, it might even be just at our hotel, basically. Too bad our hotel doesn't have charging, or I would just go straight there. But
yeah, I was gonna ask you if it had charging.
Yeah, there was no hotels by that area that had charging.
Oh.
So I just said, frig it, we'll just
look around.
We'll just supercharge next to it, and then we'll head up to Hershey Park tomorrow in the morning.
Woohoo!
But yeah, so we are doing well here. We're going to get over because we're only doing 60 miles an hour here. And yeah, been a lot of traffic on the other side. What's all these trucks? All these trucks are pulled over? What is going on here? There's so much traffic on the southbound side.
Yes.
And I mean, it's been for a very long stretch now. We've seen a lot of this traffic for like probably the last 50 or 60 miles. Just it gets really heavy in areas. And yeah, I don't know what it's all about, but I'm glad we're not on that side. That's all I gotta say. All right.
Agreed.
All right, we're getting back on the road. All right, so actually it looks like everything might have turned out the way we wanted it to. So on the highway, and we are looking at this, which is a charger that's right down the street from our hotel. Excuse me, I bumped
knock something in my throat. But this charger is just down the street from our hotel. It says we could get there with about 8% state of charge. And these are those high-powered Mercedes-Benz charge point chargers, the 400 kilowatt guys. And I'm thinking I might want to try to get there, but I don't know. We have to see how our trip goes. This is also telling us to go through Richmond and not around it. So I don't know. We might have some concern there with trying to get there if we keep up this speed. If we slow it down, then it might be a little more comfortable. But we'll see. We'll just try to take it as we go. It sort of looks like, it kind of looked like it's going to rain all day today, but this clouds keep spitting on us, so I don't know what to expect at this point. But anyway, that's what we're kind of aiming for at this point. We'll see if those plans change. We don't know, and we'll let you know as plans change along the way. All right. Unfortunately, I was not confident in making it all the way to our destination with that. Our buffer, we had about a 20-mile buffer when we first started, and then it had significantly dropped to about 9 miles as we were driving, and we still had quite the ways to go, and we were slowed down too. We were about 60 miles an hour. As you can see, we're like 63 right now as we're cutting through Richmond, Virginia. So even with some slower speeds, we were still losing some buffer, which is a little different than how our Mach-E usually works. Usually once you slow down below 70, you start to gain some battery buffer, but you know, different way of going about it, I guess, with the Lightning, and so obviously a newer system as well. But it looks like what we're going to do now is we're going to stop at this supercharger that I was talking about before here in Woodbridge, Virginia, which is right before we get off of 95 to go head that northwest route there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. That is our goal. So it says we'll get there with about 26%, which is fine. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So that'll be a good stopping point. And as I was just corrected by my lovely wife, is we're going to get there with about 18% state of charge. It's saying we only need 26 before we can move to get to the destination, which we're going to charge up obviously past 26%. We want to have something for tomorrow. But yeah, so 18% is what we're currently looking at to get to the charger with. So yeah, that'll be perfectly fine. This is crazy, the amount of traffic going southbound right now. I cannot believe the amount of cars that we have passed in traffic today. Miles and miles and miles of cars that are just sitting in back-to-back, bumper-to-bumper traffic. Ridiculous. I don't know why. I guess it is the beginning of spring break, which I guess can start some of that, but man, it is bad. You can see it on the map here too. All that red. Really bad. Well, I knew our luck was going to run out eventually. It looks like we're getting stuck in some heavy traffic here. As you can see on the map here, we have quite a bit of it too. So I don't know how long this is going to take. However, my thought is if it tends to take a while and we have decent efficiency from this, then perhaps
we can make it all the way to our destination without having to stop. So right now, based off of this, our arrival is 56 miles and we have 61 miles of battery range. So if we're stuck in traffic for, you know, another 5 or 10 miles, we might be able to recoup some of that buffer. And yeah, so here's to thinking positively doing 18, 19 miles per hour. All right, well, we'll keep you up to date. As you can see, way out there, it's traffic. Traffic, traffic, traffic. All right, well, we are here with 20% state of charge, and this is what we were looking at, 167 miles, 2 hours and 43 minutes with that traffic. 2 miles per kilowatt hour. Got a little bit better on the efficiency, though. But these are version 3s. I was going to take the end one over there, but there's a Mercedes already plugged into it, so we're going to have to, unfortunately, block a stall here. But let's get this plugged in. I'll cut the camera off because I can't do that at the same time. All right, plugged in, and it looks like we are blue. And hopefully plug and charge will kick up and we shall start seeing some charging action here. So let's see, it says 20% fast charging, and now we are ramping up. So let's see what we get up to. And then we're gonna run probably into, it looks like this is a mall of some sort, or like an outlet, outdoor outlet of some sort. But yeah, so we'll have to run and find some restrooms. It actually starting to rain now, of course. Just as we got here, it started raining on us. Go figure. But we are ramped up, 166. That's looking pretty good. Will we see 180? Now are we warmed up enough now where we see actually 180? Let's see. 21% state of charge, 174. 175. Nope, maybe not. Well, 176. We're getting a boost. Come on, where's that boost? No, maybe that's it. Maybe 176 is all she wrote here. And yep, that looks like where it's kind of hitting for now until.
Please drive to highlighted route.
Oh, quiet you. All right, so 176, not too bad, and then it'll probably just taper off of its boost profile. I assume the 2025 still have, 177, still have a very similar boost profile to the older Fords, but either way, I'll take it. Pretty good speeds. All right, we're gonna go walk around for a few minutes here. It looks like some Teslas are exchanging out off to our side here, which is good. So let's go for a walk. So you can see over there in the distance where we can see the Tesla superchargers that where we're plugged in. Over here we have some EVgo units here in case you need some CHAdeMO or CCS needs. And then over here it looks like they got an EVgo level 2, which is kind of cool to see. So just in case you want to plug in for a few hours, that'll work as well. Mach-E, very nice. Tesla coming up. All right, I think we're just about ready to go. So let's get back in the truck and see what our route is for the next leg, and then we're done for the night. Pretty easy trip today. All right, so charging here, we are at 120 kilowatts right now at about 60%. So really not too bad as far as I'm concerned. I think that's pretty decent comparing that to the Mach-E. Of course, completely different. It's like apples and oranges there. But anyway, I threw in, so here's our hotel for the night. And then I threw in, which it says we're going to get there with about 46%. And then I threw in Hershey Park for tomorrow, or just Hershey, Pennsylvania in this case. And it says we would need to stop in order to charge up enough to get to Hershey with 24%. So we'll probably have to stop one more time at some point tomorrow morning, which is fine. We have plenty of time. And I think we'll just do that. So I think what we're going to do is unplug right now, since we're tapered down pretty hard, and we will just head off. And then tomorrow morning, we could look for a charger on the way to Hershey. as opposed to trying to do this where we have enough in the pack to do tonight and Hershey Park tomorrow, which I just don't think is going to be very possible unless we stayed here till about 85-90%, which would just be another 20 or 30 minutes of us just sitting here, which is not really helping us at this point. I think we'd be better off just to get on the road, get to the hotel since it is almost 4 o'clock already. We still got about an hour to get there. So we'll get there at 5 and dinner is at 6. So that's kind of where we're staying or sitting right now. So in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll have to get rid of Hershey Park. Edit, that's what we got to do. Get rid of Hershey, keep the hotel in, and it says we will be there
to highlighted route.
in 1 hour, 40 miles, and we'll be there with 48%, which is perfect. That'll keep the truck at a good state of charge overnight, and then we will just hit a charger on our way up to Hershey tomorrow. Pretty simple. So that sounds good to me. 63%. Let's go ahead and unplug. All right, made it into the Spring Hill Suites here. So we are done for the day, other than going out for dinner and getting some sushi tonight. So just another hour on top of our trip, another 40 miles and about 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, because a lot of that was just some slow going stuff. So we are here at 52%, which gives us plenty of battery for tonight and letting it sit overnight. And that was a long day. Actually, let's take a look at trip 1 here. So 7 hours and 42 minutes. Wow, we really knocked off some time by driving this truck versus the Mach-E. That's impressive. 2.0 miles per kilowatt hour total, 427 miles. Wow. All right, impressive. Ooh, it is cold and it is windy this morning. Rolling out to the Lightning here. Try to get this packed up. Gonna get on the road hopefully a little after 8 o'clock. We got about a 2-hour drive, but we do gotta stop and charge probably on the way there. So let's get packed up and get on the road. All right, just getting in the truck and starting it up. So we are at about 50% state of charge, and we need to go a little bit of a distance today. So it looks like about an hour, or 117 miles is this way to go. So that's what we're going to go for, 2 hours and 39 minutes. And it says we do need to stop. So let's just see where it wants us to stop here.
Be alert and use voice commands while driving.
And it wants us to stop down the road.
Turn left, then make a slight left turn.
Well, that's weird. Why would we not be stopping more along the route? All right, so there is this Tesla supercharger that is about 70 miles away, which should be perfectly fine. We got about 118 miles of range. That should give us plenty
In 200
of
feet, turn left, then make a slight
breathing
left turn.
room there. So yep, it says we'll get there with about 20%. So that's perfect. So we're just going to drive about 70 miles, so a little over an hour to get there, hit that Tesla supercharger, and then sit there for maybe 30 minutes or so, and then we got to get to Hershey Park. They open at 11. It's 8:16. We got over 2 hours of driving, not including charging. Yeah, so let's try to do that. Let's get on the road. right, good morning everybody. Well, it is Sunday on our glorious first trip in our F-150 Lightning, and so today we are leaving Leesburg, Virginia, or thereabouts, and we are heading up to Hershey Park. So I haven't been to Hershey Park in quite a long time, so looking forward to it. And the park opens at 11, and it says we're meeting our friend here there at the hotel right down the street from Hershey Park, the hotel we're staying in for tonight. And then this way we're just going to carpool over to Hershey. But it says we're not going to get to the hotel till 10:45. Now that's with charging. So the question is, will we get to Hershey Park by 11? That's the question. So what we got to do is try to make up as much time as possible by going around slow people like this.
Without getting me car sick.
Without getting you car sick. We had a little bit of a starting of a car sickness yesterday.
Yes.
But yeah, so our goal is to try to get to there as quickly as possible. Now you saw that I put in before. I put in go to Hershey Park, and it was like, okay, stop at this charger down the road. Now it wouldn't make much sense for us to stop at a charger locally because we were already at 50% state of charge, and therefore we wouldn't get our fastest speeds. So it makes more sense for us to go to a charger as low as possible. And as we saw yesterday, we can get about 180 kilowatts.
Yeah.
I think I saw 178 yesterday.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good, actually. I'm perfectly satisfied with that number with this vehicle. So the idea is to get to the charger as low as possible. So we're going to stop in at this charger in Gettysburg. I was looking at, there's 2 superchargers on the way, and this one seems to be about the range that we can go comfortably without pushing it too hard. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and hit that charger this morning in about, how far are we from the charger? 65 miles, about an hour and 15 minutes. So in about an hour and 15 minutes, we're going to get to the charger, hopefully below, what is it estimating we'll be there with? 20%. Not bad. So we'll get there with a relatively low state of charge the truck up as much as we need, basically, to get ourselves to Hershey as comfortably as possible, and then we'll deal with charging it tomorrow or tonight or whatever the case may be, depending on what we decide to do after the park. But that's pretty much where we're at right now. So we'll see how my friend's doing. He's coming in from Maryland, so he's got about a 2-hour drive as well, but he's got a 2019 Model 3 standard range, so he should probably be able to make it there in one charge. I don't know if he's going to stop, so, and I don't know what time he left exactly, so we'll have to just kind of figure that out as we go. So we'll try to meet up around the same time. Anyway, that's our goals. What do you got?
Hershey.
Yeah, Hershey Park.
Last time we were there was 2013.
2013, that was it? Okay, so I was trying to figure that out the other day. So it's been 12, it was right before we moved.
Yep.
So it's about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Been a long time.
Wow. That's kind of cool. Let's get over it before I miss our exit. All right, well, we are getting onto the road here, and we'll see you when we get closer, or at least when we get to the charger. All right, we just got onto somewhat of a highway here. It's highway enough for Blue Cruise hands-free to be in effect. So we are just cruising now, trying to burn off as much juice as possible. And then this way we can get to the charger with hopefully the best charging possible here. So once again, hands-free Blue Cruise, turn lane changing system, really nice. Really liking it so far, and looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. It's cool out, 48 degrees right now, as you can see there. 48, but it's supposed to be in the 60s today in Hershey Park, so hopefully things will warm up, and we'll be having a nice day in the park, and looking forward to it. And we'll see what happens the rest of the day. So, Yeah, it looks like we got an exit here in a short while, so we'll go ahead and get prepared for that. All right, got here to the Gettysburg. It's a Sheetz, and yeah, so there's some Tesla superchargers over here, there, and then there's two here. I stole this one. This is like a pull install for, I don't know, maybe I guess if you have like a trailer or something. I'm gonna steal it just for now because we're not gonna be here too long, and there's nobody, literally nobody here. So let's go ahead and get this plugged in and see what we can do with charging speeds. All right, so we are plugged in, and let's see. Do I have to turn the truck on to see this, or does it stay? Nope, I guess it's just there. All right, ramping up, fast charging. So once again, 19% is what we plugged into. So let's see. Nope, it does turn off. All right, turning on the car. Built for tough. There we are, ramping over 100. I could hear the cabinet starting to make some noise out there. We're at 1A here, 161, 163. $170. All right, well, I think we're basically just maxing out our charging curve here, so that's pretty good. 173, 175. I'm assuming it preconditioned on the way here. Ford's logic for preconditioning, I believe, is when you're within 20 miles of a charger, it will start to precondition the battery. That is how it's been explained to me, but yet it doesn't pop up on the screen everywhere, or anywhere, which is really annoying, in my opinion. I really feel like it should just pop up on the screen, but it doesn't. 176 kilometers, wow, kilowatts. And it says recharge required for trip. No, thank you.
Please drive to highlighted route.
And then let's see what it's telling us we need here. So we are charging up. So we're still at 0. And we got about 49 miles to get to Hershey, 57 minutes. So about an hour of driving. So 49 miles, that should only be, you know, it already says we're at 50 miles of range. So we shouldn't need too much, but I don't want to get there with like 5%. I want to get there with, you know, at least a few. 25-30% would be great, so this way we have some driving around for getting to the next charger. So 177 kilowatts is pretty good. We'll take it. Let's go take a look at the site real quick. All right, got the F-150 Lightning plugged in. Let's see how bad of a parking job I did here. All right, maybe not the greatest, but hopefully nobody needs that charger over there in the corner. But anyway, so you can see these two chargers are here, and then you have those chargers across the parking lot over there. So kind of a little bit of a broken up charging station here, but I don't know, seems to work. Yeah, you can see there, broken up a little bit over there. Interesting. All right, so we just ran into the Sheetz to get some stuff there, and then we came back out. So we were at 52% state of charge. We're at 123 kilowatts, still charging, and it says that we're going to get there with 33%. And we have a major problem right now, and that is that the cup holders in the F-150 don't fit my Arizona sweet tea. I mean, it kind of jams in there, but I'm afraid I'm going to break something. So I'm very upset about this. We might have to return the truck now. I'm just saying, if it can't hold in Arizona, I mean, I guess I'll just have to get the cans from now on because the bottles are just too big. Anyway, other than that terrible note, we are going to get back on the road here in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and unplug. I think we're good. It says we're going to get there right now. I guess if we leave now, we'll be there at 10:47. So we're just going to go for it. So let's get on the road. Look at this guy coming up. Oh yeah. Bentley, everybody. It's a Bentley. Look at me. All right, made it to Hershey. We're over at the Hampton Inn here. It's busy, a lot of people here. Anyway, we're at 36% state of charge, which is where this will stay for now because we're going to take my buddy's Tesla Model 3 over to Hershey, which actually you may recognize if you've been with the channel for 5 years, because it's one of the first videos I shot was that his car. But yeah, 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour since we left the charger an hour ago. And yeah, so pretty good. All right, well, we're going to go have some time over at the park, and we'll see you a little after. Go for it! Come on! Woohoo! Hope you know how to drive it. Oh, you're swerving all over the road. What happens if I do this?
That's the brake.
All right, everybody. Well, we are in the truck and ready to go for the morning. We had a great time at Hershey Park yesterday. Looks like it might have rained overnight a little bit. And our plan is to get to Rockaway, New Jersey, which is where we originally are from. So it looks like it wants us to stop at this Flying J, which is just down the street. I really don't want to stop that early. I kind of want to get on the road and kind of as far as we possibly can. Actually, let me do this real quick. Let's do along my active route and say really, really fast chargers. And let's see if we could get something further down the road. So there's Tesla in PA, Allentown, Blink, Tesla in Easton. That shows it's technically out of our circle. So maybe not quite what we want to do here. So we don't want to do the Chevrolet dealership. The Blink, I'm assuming, is probably not going to be a great idea. And then I guess our only option here is Allentown. So we'll guess we'll try to get to Allentown. Now, I don't know why there's two. So 3 and 4. Let's see where these are locally on the map here. So it looks like 3 is back here off this exit. Oh, in Macungie. Okay. We used to go there for the big car shows back in the day. And then that's 4 there. So let's just see what the difference is between these two, because this is also a consideration, is that you want to see. So this is a 12 stall version 3, it looks like. All right. 53 cents a kilowatt hour. It's a little expensive, but not too bad. Let's go back and go to this one.
It says not available.
Yeah, not available. Interesting. So I guess we're not going to take that chance. So we're not going to go to that one. So let's go to, no, let's do this correctly. what is this? It says Ford charge. I must be at a Ford dealership. Interesting. So let's get to this one here. This appears to be one that we would want to go to. 250 kilowatt, 12 of 12 available, 53 cents a kilowatt hour, cheaper than Electrify America. And we should be good. So I wouldn't mind stopping at that Pilot Flying J, but the thing is, it's like down the road. I don't want to stop there too early. It's just not really worth it. So let's go there and see what we're looking at. 66 miles to our charger. And then I just have Hibernia Diner, which is a diner we used to go to all the time when we used to live in Rockaway. So I put that as our destination for today. But that is what we're looking at right now. All right. So we're going to get there with 6%, which I guess is fine. We'll just take our time. And then we'll have to charge up a little bit to get to where else we need to go. All right, let's get on the road. Everybody, well, good morning. So we are cruising on 81 right now, or no, we're on 78 now actually, and so we're just cruising straight into New Jersey at this point. We do have to stop one more time here, as you saw before, so we're going to be hitting that supercharger here in about 25 minutes or so, and then we'll be that'll be our last stop for today, our only stop for today, and that'll be it for our trip up to New Jersey. Now, the hard part is not done yet, so we actually have to get into New Jersey. We're going to be getting onto Route 80, and for those of you who don't know or not familiar with, Route 80 is the main corridor between like Pennsylvania and New York that cuts through New Jersey, and that has since have had not potholes, sinkholes, like legitimately like 20-foot wide sinkholes just opening up on the highways, and they have been
very scary.
Yeah, thankfully nobody's been injured or anything by these sinkholes, but the commute for a lot of people every single day going from Pennsylvania or New Jersey to New York, or New York going back home every day, has been just an absolute nightmare. And I even family members and friends of ours have been dealing with that even just in a short stint, because the sinkholes seem to be occurring right around where we grew up.
Yes.
Right where we used to live.
All the
All the old
old mines.
mines that they used to have there years and years and years ago are now just opening up underneath the highway of all places. And so our goal today was to potentially try to, if we do take that route, is to get there between rush hours, between lunch and end of day rush hour. So that's kind of our goal right now. And actually we got to change our location. We're actually going to be stopping somewhere else. We're going to be stopping over by the Rockaway Mall there, which is right where the sinkholes are located, like right in that area. And yeah, so that's another another concern. We've been hearing about these sinkholes.
I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, we've been hearing about these sinkholes for months now, and like they get one, and then they filled it in and fixed it, and like literally like days later, like another one popped up or popped down, depending on how you want to look at that. But yeah, some scary stuff going on right now. So they and another thing is too, is you can look this all up too. Just look at like New Jersey sinkholes. It's all over the news. But if you look, they had done a survey, and they said that there was like 90 areas of concern that could potentially become sinkholes.
That's scary.
If not addressed. And it's, so
very scary.
So we'll see. We might, it says we got about 2 hours left, 2.5 hours with charging. And depending on how that whole sinkhole situation is, if we time it just right, we should be okay. But if for any reason we hit this at the wrong time, we might be dealing with
lots of traffic.
Some traffic,
Lots and lots of traffic.
Yeah. All right, well, that's pretty much our update here. So we'll be stopping in about 20 minutes here for our first and only charge of the day. and then we will polish up this video when we get to one of our destinations here. And look at this Hyundai. Whoosh. Ridiculous.
Why do they have to go so fast?
I don't know. Anyway. All right. Well, we'll see you in a little bit. All right. About to gain some elevation here in Pennsylvania. So we're at 525 feet of elevation. And the, oh, look at that. Driving range low just kicked on because we got 30-mile warning there. And we'll just go ahead and resume our blue cruise there because I hit it by mistake. And yeah, so we got about 11 miles to the charger. We are just climbing up some elevation at the moment here, as you could see. And we'll probably be up pretty high, and then we'll have to come back down elevation once we get to the other side because, yep, we'll be regenning down. It's not a huge mountain here, but it's a little bit of a height that we have to gain. And we're at 13% state of charge with 11 miles left to go, so we should be pretty good. It says we have 29 miles of estimated range. Hopefully that's accurate enough, but we'll see. So we're already up 100 and something feet from what we started there. So yep, we'll be climbing here. 2 miles per kilowatt hour is what we're looking at, which is actually pretty good. I think we've, I don't know, I think we lost a little elevation from Hershey. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but we'll see what it is when we get to the charger. But in the meantime, we got 10 miles to go. And it looks like we are cresting that hill now, just over 840 feet of elevation. So just a little bit of a hill climb there, nothing crazy. Usually when we take some of the back ways, which we might do on our way home next week, that'll be in the next video, we'll go up some pretty major elevation and down that same elevation. So we'll be in the mountains of like western Pennsylvania. I think it's more or less like Virginia and stuff that we see some pretty large elevations down out towards that mountain range there. But yeah, so once again, just cruising about 8 more miles to our charger. So just a few miles of uphill. All right, well, just made it to the Wawa here. It's still yelling at me to drive to a highlighted route. We're at 10% state of charge, so did pretty good. 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour, not bad. And 64 miles, just over an hour and 15 minutes there. So not bad. So we're gonna get plugged in. Yeah, turn off the GoPro. It looks like this Wawa is completely under construction, closed for remodel, it says that sign. So thankfully the superchargers, I hope, are still open. But let's go plug in and see what we get. All right, well, I actually had to start the charging session from the Tesla app. It was just sitting there, not really doing anything. But it looks like we are fast charging now. So we are climbing right now, 140, 147, come on, come on. I want to see 180. I think the highest I've seen is 178. I really want to see 180. Still at 10% state of charge. Now 11. 170. Loud out here, a lot of trucks. Come on. $173. All right, we'll take it. It'll probably creep up a couple more kilowatts while we're sitting here, but yeah, 173 is pretty good. We'll take it. All right, we're gonna go and try to find a restroom and some other stuff that we may have to do while we're here. Too bad the Wawa's closed. So just throwing in our navigation again to see where we were heading. I'm not gonna take 78 to 287. That's just way out of the way. We could see that we can also take 22 here up to 80, and then 80 brings us over here. But you can see this is where the sinkholes are. Right there. So we want to avoid that. So I think what we're going to be doing is coming up through Route 46 here and trying to get to where we need to go. So I think that's the way we're going to go. So I think if we go back here and we say we want to go that way, that's the way we're going to go. So we're going to cut through here on, this is still 78, yep, 78 through Easton, and then we're going to start shooting up north here on, what road is this actually? I think we did this one last time. Yeah, because there's 57, which I normally take 57 actually. So we could always do that as a backup there. In fact, I think I might actually do that once we get close. We might actually just take the 57 route and kind of go that way. But yeah, we're going to see how this goes and try to avoid that sinkhole area as much as possible and go from there. But right now we are, let's hit go. We are charging up and we are at 99 miles of range right now at 39% state of charge. We're about 122 kilowatts at 39%. So doing pretty good. And yeah, so overall we just need 80 miles to get to where we need to go. So I'm going to probably charge up to about 50, maybe 60% just to have a little extra in the tank. And then we'll head out. We just need 80 miles to get to the mall. And then we need to get to where we're staying for for tonight. So we'll probably wait for this to get to at least 20, 25% before we head out. So this way we have plenty to get to where we need to go after our stop for this morning. All right, so it says now we're going to get there about 24%. So we are at 55 right now, which should be plenty. We're about 120 kilowatt charging still. So it's been a pretty good taper. And it does pretty well up to about 60 or 70%. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far with the charging of this truck. We've only been here for, I don't know actually, but we've been here for a little bit. But yeah. So we're going to get back on the road. I think now, by the time I unplug it, we'll be up another % or two. So let's get on the road. We do have to stop and find a bathroom anyway because, unfortunately, Wawa was closed. And one of the things I wanted to do when I came up north was stop at a Wawa. But there you go. You can see the gas station pumps are, but unfortunately, the store is not. It's under construction. Oh, well. What's this guy doing? Yeah, you better. Can't charge up your Camry here. Nuh-uh. Look at this. I found an Arizona sweet tea that fits in the cup holder. All right, our mission is successful. We can go back home now. Well, I guess we'll have to go back to Jersey anyway. All right, now we're getting on the road. Let's go for it. All right, so check mark. We just had some pizza here. Got some Jersey pizza. One of the reasons that you come to New Jersey is to actually get the pizza. And now we're just looking at the map now because it was claiming that there was some traffic that we were going to hit. It's 1 o'clock right now. So I'm thinking...
The expected delay due to traffic is 6 minutes.
All right, so it says we've got about 6 minutes of traffic. All right, so I think what we should do is just get on the road, get to where we need to go, and then I think we'll be okay just as long as we make it there before the rush hour starts around 3 o'clock. But we're less than 20 minutes from where we need to be, so I think we got plenty of time. I think we cut this just right, and let's get back on the road.
Yep.
I'm stuffed of Sicilian pizza, by the way.
So good.
If you don't know what Sicilian pizza is, go get one. Amazing. I love Sicilian. All right, let's get on the road.
Alrighty, well, we tried to get a little bit, we just decided to go for it, and we hit some traffic about a mile before the exit, unfortunately. So it looks like we're stuck in traffic. I was hoping to get a little closer to the exit before we got hit in traffic, but the navigation said this was the quickest way, so I believed it, and I'm thinking it was wrong. So, yeah, we're going to be stuck in traffic for a little bit. Great. Well, that appears to be the site in which the hole has occurred, way, way, way out there. So, yeah, interesting. You can see everybody's going around that exit. They're coming off onto the highway that way. Crazy. All right, well, we got as far as we need to go on this trip to show you how well it's done. So it looks like we did about 14 hours of driving all around. 687 miles, so just under 6 miles, or just under 700 miles at 2 miles per kilowatt hour. So really, really good efficiencies, considering the size and the weight of the vehicle and our driving. So really impressed. All right, everybody. Well, that wraps up our almost 700-mile trip from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, all the way up to Rockaway, New Jersey. So yeah, long trip, but that's why we normally do it in 2 days, so we make some stop gaps and have some fun along the way and see some friends. And it's always a good trip when we do this, and I'm glad that we did it with this vehicle this time. We've done it with the Mach-E. We haven't done it with the Tesla yet, which might happen soon, but this time we wanted to take the F-150 Lightning because obviously we had just bought the car, so we had to do it. And we now have 700 and just about 70 miles on the truck.
Wow.
And we've had it less than a week. So really cool. Anyway, we'd like to thank you very much for watching this episode today. Of course, if you're new to the channel, because this is our first Lightning road trip episode, you're going to probably want to stick around to see more content on the F-150 Lightning. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button, that thumbs up just below the video as well. And of course, we will see you on the next one. And do you have anything you want to add to this?
It was a great trip up.
Yeah.
It was comfortable riding. We had great weather in Hershey, and it was just...
Yeah, we had a great time in Hershey.
Yeah.
Good time to see some friends. And yeah, the truck did excellent the entire time. Really, I mean, the hands-free system is really, really good in this vehicle. I would say it's almost as good as the Mach-E. I think the Mach-E would be a little bit better because it's a smaller, more nimble vehicle. But honestly, it's very impressive what they can do, even in a vehicle this size with... the hands-free system. So I'm very impressed with that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a lot more road trips in this, because even though it costs a little bit more, almost double, we knocked that price down quite a bit with supercharging.
We did.
So instead of paying like 56 cents a kilowatt hour, which is like what Electrify America kind of runs at, sometimes a little bit more than that, we were paying anywhere between like 43, and I think this morning we paid 53. Yeah, which is still cheaper than Electrify America on the cheaper side of things. So, I mean, either way, you're going to be paying a lot more for DC charging versus just household charging. But
true.
That'll be it. Anyway, thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. And remember, welcome to the future.
And welcome to Tech Motoring.
We'll see you soon.